This video will go over several linear equation applications. Many of you call that word problems. I would recommend reading the problem and pausing the video and trying it yourself, since word problems you need time to read the problem and think about how to solve it. So I would read it, pause the video, see if you have an idea of how to set up the problem, and then push play on the video if you need help. In this problem, it says Michelle and Chris are married. Michelle's paycheck is $550 more than Chris. The total of both their paychecks together is $3,226. Using X as your variable, so they told us what to use X, write and solve an equation to find how much each of their paychecks are worth. So they didn't tell us what X was going to be, so that's what we have to decide right here. So what are we trying to find out? We're trying to find out how much each of their paychecks are worth. So we have to decide whether we want X to be Chris's paycheck amount or Michelle's paycheck amount. Alright, so let's say we decide to let X represent Chris's paycheck amount. So then Chris's variable expression is X, so that's the amount Chris gets paid. Well, it says that Michelle makes $550 more than Chris. So we're going to take Chris, which is X, we decided, and we're going to add 550 to that, since Michelle, the problem says, makes more. So then it says to write and solve an equation. Well, it says the total of both their paychecks. So if we take Chris's paycheck, which is X, and then we add it to Michelle's paycheck, which is X plus 550, it says altogether they earn $3,226. So now we have an equation that we could solve to figure out part C, the amount of both their paychecks. So when we solve an equation, we're going to go ahead and combine like terms. So we're going to put X and X together. That's 2X. And our goal is to get the 2X isolated. So we're going to take 550 away from both sides. And then our very last step, when the variable term is isolated, we're going to go ahead and divide by the coefficient, which is 2. So we would get X is equal to 1,338. So we wrote here, that's why we have a let statement to remind us that the X represents Chris's paycheck. So it says in part C, the amount of Chris's paycheck is $1,338. And then it asks for Michelle's. Well, if we take the value we got and plug it in here, she makes $550 more dollars. So we're going to take 1,338 and add 550 to it. And therefore her paycheck is $1,888. And now if you check it, if you take both of their paychecks together, the problem says that both of their paychecks together is $3,226. And you could see if you add both of these, it checks. Now we could also, instead of having X be Chris's paycheck amount, we could let X be Michelle's paycheck. So if we do that, now X represents Michelle's paycheck amount, and it says that Michelle makes $550 more. So if X is Michelle, then Chris is making $550 less. So our equation would look like this. When we add these two together, It's still their paycheck is $3,226. We're still going to combine like terms. And then if we continue to solve this, let's see what we get. This time we get 1,888. Well, this time we let X be Michelle's paycheck. So then if we plug in 1,888 for X here, we would see that Chris would make 1,338, which is what we got in the previous problem here. So we get the same thing, but depending on what we have X represent, we're going to get that value first.